Alright, grade 10, so this week we're going to be doing a super simple helicopter design lab together. So I'd recommend following along and pausing when I tell you to and do this with me. But if you wanted, you could watch it first and then go do it yourself. So our lab this week, we're going to be making little paper helicopters and testing out different variables. So these variables you get a choice of. So what we're going to do right now, I'm just going to zoom in here a little bit on our independent variable. So we're going to pick our independent variable. So for example, you could do weight, material, shape, or height. I'm going to do weight. So that's my independent variable. So I'm going to be weight. So I'm going to write that in there. And so this is what our little paper helicopter is. Zoom that again. So I haven't quite made it yet, so I wanted to make it with you. But it's going to be one of those kind of like the helicopter seeds that you see. You just drop it and then it'll spin down to the ground. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to use weights. So I can go, I'm going to write down my independent variable because I need a material for that. So for my materials, I've got my paper helicopter. We're going to make them together. And then my weights are actually going to be pennies. So there's my pennies there. So that's going to be my pennies. And my dependent variable, what I'm measuring, I'm going to measure how long it takes to drop. So that's my time in seconds. So I'm going to use my phone as a timer. So that's going to be in there. And let's see what's left to do here. So we've got the hypothesis, we're going to do that at the very end, and our control. So the thing I'm going to keep the same. So my thing I'm going to keep the same is I'm always going to drop it from the same height, which is going to be my arm. You could drop it from, if you had stairs in your house, you could drop it from a different height in your stairs. So that could be if you change height there. You could drop it from different heights. My stairs don't really work for that, so that's why I'm going to do my arm. If you wanted, you could change the shape of your helicopter with the blades. Or you could do weight if you have something like pennies to add to it, like I do. Excuse me. Okay. So now I have to write my hypothesis. So I'm going to write, if I add more weight, then the helicopter will fall faster. So that is my prediction. So you are going to say, for you, if you change something, what are you changing? What do you think is going to happen? Okay, so we've got our things all filled out. We have our independent variable that I'm changing is weight. Again, you can pick something else. If you have a question about if something is appropriate, you could throw that into the Teams channel and ask us there. And then my dependent variable, I'm measuring time. You could measure time or spins if you wanted. My height is going to be my arm above the ground. If I had something to measure what this height actually is, like a meter stick or something, you could put that in. I'm going to do it based on my height. I'm going to guess it's about 5 feet. But I could be wrong. I might get a tape measure out and measure that later, and if it's changed, I'll update that. Okay? And then all your materials, I think I've got, oh, I need a paper clip. That's the other thing. Okay, and we're ready to go. So we now have to build our paper clip. So hopefully you found this document online. If you're watching this, I'm sure you have. So what we have here, we've gotten, sorry, trying to zoom out. We've got 3 templates. So I've gone ahead and cut one out already, but there is 3 like that. You can print them, and if you don't have a printer and you needed to draw it out, I've tried to put in the different, I measured it, and I estimated to give you an estimate of how big to draw it before you cut it out. So this whole edge here is about 19.5 centimeters. So let me just zoom in so you can see these numbers. So that whole edge, long edge, 19.5. Then these 2 bits here are about 2 centimeters each, so that can give you the whole width across is about 4 centimeters. And then, so we've got, let me just rotate this a little bit. That's probably better. So you've got along here, this side here is about 7 centimeters, the middle bit is 2.5 centimeters, and here this is about 8 centimeters down, and the last bit is 2, okay? So if you do need to draw it, I'd recommend using a ruler of some sort to measure that out. So that's my ruler that I've been using there, and that is maybe another thing we actually need to add to our materials. So I've kind of run out of room here, I'm just going to add it on the end, so a ruler. And obviously a pen or a pencil. Probably better to use pencil like always. Let me zoom out of here. So this is my cutout. I'll get rid of this. I'll keep it off to the side because we still need it. This is my cutout helicopter. So I've cut all around the edges. And now we need to follow the directions. So what you're going to do is you are going to cut along the solid lines. So there's 2 solid lines, sorry, 3. There's one here, one there, and one there. So I'm going to cut along these solid lines, okay? So let's see. One cut there. Try to do it as accurate as you can because that'll make it easier for your results. Awesome. Okay, so now that I've done that, I'm going to follow the directions I've got over here. So it says fold flap A forward and flap B to the back. So flap A is going to come forward. I'm going to fold along that dotted line, try to keep it as accurate, and B is going to go, B is going to go back along that dotted line. Okay, fold flaps C and D both forward along the dotted lines. So that's going to be, sorry you can't see that, so C and D both forward. So fold these forward. This is a little tricky to fold, so that's why you have 3. If you mess up, you can always cut out another one. If you get it on the first try, then good on ya. Okay, and C forward as well. Oops, doesn't seem very straight. Okay, now fold along the line E upwards to give a weight at the bottom. So it got cut out, but this line here is E. So fold along. So I can kind of see it through there. Fold it up like that. And that is our little helicopter. So when I talk about shape as being an option, you can shape these a little bit differently, okay? So I've got my paper helicopter, and we're ready for the next step. So you can pause this and make your own helicopter, and then come back and we'll add some weights to it, okay? Okay, so I've drawn out my table. You have your own table, so I made one for you so you don't have to draw it, but this is what yours looks like. Except I've filled in here what my independent variable is. So I could even, instead of writing independent variable, I could just write weight. So that could be in there instead. And these trials, I'm measuring time if you remember, so they're going to be in seconds. So I'm going to write seconds in all of those. Okay, so let's go do our first trial. Okay, so I've got my timer here, got my paper clip on my helicopter, so I'm going to hold my arm out straight, and I'm going to start my stopwatch as soon as I release it. So maybe you want to get someone in your house to help you with this, or one person can do the timer while you're dropping it, but I'm going to try to do it at the same time, okay? So 3, 2, 1... and stop as soon as it hits the ground. So that was 1 second, 26 milliseconds, so pretty fast because I'm not going for very high. So key is to hold it, you can see where I'm holding it here, and just drop it straight down. Okay? Okay, so I've done that once, and you're doing 3 trials, so I gotta do that 2 more times. So let's go again. Oh, didn't do it at the same time. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay, that was 1:32, so I'm going to go write that down and come back and do it again. So ready, and third trial, 1, 2, 3, and that was 1:30, okay? There we go, good. So that's your first 3 trials done. Okay, so I've got my penny here. I'm going to add it to this paper clip because again I'm changing weight. You might be doing a different one. If you are, that's fine. But now I've got my paper clip. I'm going to get my timer out and I'm going to do it the same as before. Now with one weight. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay, so that was faster. 103. And I'm going to do it again. 105. And again, ready? And that was 0.8, so even faster. Okay, so that's my one penny. So here I've got 2 pennies now, so this is my last trial. So I'm going to time it again like always, and we're doing 3 trials. Okay, so same height. And 3, 2, 1. And last trial. Good. Okay, so I'm done my trials now, so let's go over graphing, okay? Okay, so there you go. This is the data that I have. Your data will look different because you've done it differently. So I've averaged everything out, which you'll need to do as well. So again, average is trial 1 plus trial 2 plus trial 3. That's going to be in brackets, and divide all of that by 3, and you will get a number here. So this looks like a little bit of an outlier, but that's the data I got, so that's what my data says. So now the next step is going to be graphing these averages. So that's what you want to be graphing, okay? So I'm going to draw a little graph paper for me, and then we can graph it together. Okay, so I've drawn a little graph paper for myself here. Let's just zoom in a little bit. So I've got my numbers of over here. I've forgotten to label my axis, which is great because now we can do it together. So really important, your independent, oops, sorry, just trying to get a marker. Your independent variable is always going to be along the bottom. So this is going to be my weight, and it's measured in pennies because I don't have a scale right now to measure it, so I'm just measuring in pennies. I've got a photo of what I've got over here on my phone, which is what, and then over here is going to be time in seconds, right? So my first time was 129, and that was with 0 pennies. So I'm going to put that right here. And then I had 0.96 with 1 penny, so that's almost right here. And then with 2 pennies, I had 0.93, so that would be right about here. Okay, and then I would draw a line of best fit, which should go kind of like that. And that is the end of your lab. Great job, everyone. Okay, so that is the end of your lab. Be sure to go back to your hypothesis and check. So my hypothesis was if I add more weight, the helicopter will fall faster. I can see with more weight increasing this way, the time of falling decreased. So my hypothesis has been confirmed. So I wonder if your hypothesis has been confirmed. Okay, I hope that you got to do this lab along with me and that you had fun. Please remember to hand it in. There is a shark on this one, so you do need to hand it in, and I hope to see what you got up to. Okay, have a good week, everyone.